now for our cultural interlude, and today we're taking you on a high-speed chase through James Bond history. For the first time ever, you can check out the rides of the iconic British spy as they go on display at the London Film Museum. There are snowmobiles, helicopters, and of course plenty of luxury cars. Racing driver Ben Collins was a stuntsman on the movies, and he says that while he has no regrets about the cars he destroyed, he never touched that big red button.
It's complete, dream come true, working on Bond films. I grew up watching them as a boy, had all the toy car, the corgis and things like this. I never dreamt that I'd end up driving the Corgi one. I got to drive the DB5 in Skyfall, so that was really cool, but I still didn't have the guts to press the button on the gear knob in case it actually worked the ejector seat. So I later found out it was attached to machine guns, which is even worse.
Next, the homeless rarely find themselves in the limelight, but amateur British photographer Lee Jeffries has made them the focus of his work. The 40-year-old, who's an accountant by day, has produced a haunting set of black and white portraits of people living on the streets of Europe and the US. He's currently exhibiting the images at the Yellow Korner gallery here in Paris and auctioned off 8 of the photographs. All of the money raised, more than 20,000 euros, goes to a French homeless association. Now, France 24's Leila Amar went along and asked the photographer how else people can help those who are often forgotten and ignored.
Homelessness affords a freedom that you and I don't have. But that doesn't mean we as society, because they've made a choice to be homeless, or they may have not made that choice to be homeless, doesn't mean you and I and society forget them. We still have a duty to love them. And if that's all we can do for them, love them, then we're doing something.
Finally, he starred in more than 130 films and played more than 100 roles on stage. Louis de Funès is widely considered France's favourite actor, but the highly animated comedian never managed the same level of fame in the English-speaking world. Now, if you're not familiar with his work, now's your chance. An exhibition celebrating his life is currently on here in Paris on the 100th anniversary of his birth.
Louis de Funès was one of the best-known names in French comedy throughout the 60s and 70s, and this new exhibition has been put together by one of his biggest fans. Marie Ravel grew up with the comedian's work.
My parents are watching Cabbage Soup on TV, and I sat down in front of the screen. And they say I didn't look away from the TV for a second. I was hooked.
De Funès made over 140 films. The most popular was The Great Stroll in 1966. It sold 17 million cinema tickets. He was 50 before he became successful, but his string of box office hits would be worth waiting for.
I find him very funny. He de-stresses me.
Everything's in his gestures, his dialogue, so I think it still works 20 or 30 years later.
Do children like it?
Yes, lots. I love it.
De Funès played the piano from the age of 5. He was also a star all over Europe. In Germany, The Policeman and the Aliens beat all box office records in 1979, while the following year, The Miser was a hit in the then Czechoslovakia.
People there prefer his Czech voice to the French.
He also released records reading children's stories with all the voices. De Funès died in 1983. At the height of his fame in the 60s and 70s, 270 million people saw his films.
Time now for our sports roundup, including all the latest